Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Huddle. Paul usually does this, and again, I don't have anything written down, so I don't know exactly what he says. And every time he's not here, it throws us way off. But we're here today to just talk. We have some special guests that might be popping in, having some technical difficulties. But hey, at least we're here. Here he
Yes,
goes,
sir.
right here, one of them.
I got on the Wi-Fi.
He got on the Wi-Fi.
I was
That
gonna
makes
go
it a
out my
lot
van. I
better.
was gonna go out in my van, and I came in, and I'm like, "Is there any way I can just use your Wi-Fi? Because it ain't gonna work."
That seems to be the thing to do nowadays. Almost everybody's got Wi-Fi available, and it seems the cell signals don't really hold anymore.
No, not especially with like anything. I can stream music, but if I'm trying to like even like watch Netflix, stream Netflix somewhere that's not really a great location, it just don't work.
No, well, we're glad you're here, man. This is Mr. John Steier, aka the Florinator. For people that don't know, I think everyone knows you on these groups, though.
If they don't, they should by now.
They
Man,
should. I mean, where have you been? Living under a rock?
Right. I mean, earlier, what were you live for, like 3 hours or something?
Yeah, 50. It was like 56 minutes. Here's the bedroom I just finished earlier, guys.
yeah, we were watching. I went on Facebook and I was like, he's live right now.
Working on steps now.
Working on those are the worst, man. Steps
Yeah,
are the worst.
I,
They're also very gratifying though when you're done.
yeah, yeah. I enjoy working with them for the simple fact that they make everything finished, right? Like a good set of steps, especially when you're working residential. It's like the first thing you learn to do really is put a set of steps on, but it's also one of the most important things you do. And when you're on a project, because again, it ties the whole project together. If your steps look like crap, it just kind of makes everything look like crap.
Yeah, the same way in commercial, right? Everyone typically starts on base, but if the
Yeah.
base looks like crap, everything else looks like crap. It gives people. Um, oh, I put this on screen. I'll send you a link in a second. Like it makes everyone just take a look at things and be like, hey, this don't look right, so let me kind of inspect everything else.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many times have you guys, gone in and I get a kick out of the base that, I love when I look at a corner and it's perfect 90, nice and tight. But once you notice one of those that's not like that,
You
you
see
just
everything.
everything.
You're right. It's
Yeah.
just it jumps out at you. Your brain just starts looking for similar items or things out of place.
Oh,
I appreciate you joining us on such
yeah.
short notice today. We did pull an audible today and change. We had to change the episode.
Well,
So
I think it's a great topic because I had a whole bunch of crap on my head, and I was talking about it when I went live. But I thought another chance to share some more of my I call them my deep carpet thoughts. When you're deep
Deep
at work.
carpet thoughts.
Yeah, I need to carry a notebook around with me like you do, Jose, and start writing this shit down.
dude,
Like,
I got to write stuff down because of ADHD. It just leads to other things, right? Like it's helpful in more ways than one.
yeah, yeah. But what I was, it's always like, how do we get education on the forefront? And for me, it's about teaching, the trade, teaching how to do it, teaching how to install the material. And we've got trade organizations. We now have the Floor Covering Education Foundation, and we have, I mean, all over Facebook, all over YouTube. You can't not see an ad on somebody that wants to make your business better too, right? Like,
Oh my
hey,
goodness.
yeah, basically follow this playbook, and you're going to have great success. And so then, here I'm always thinking like, geez, us in the carpet, or I should say, the floor covering community, when we want to get our word out there, we want to help people. We've got so much noise to go up against. what do we do to put our message out there? And it hit me today. I'm like, yeah, why aren't you seeing more training done with the Facebook groups? That
I
was
think
a question that I asked, and it's not that I would say I want to spam people and have them, hey, I'd give you this, 15-minute session and then now come do a class. It's more like, no, I mean, I think you could legitimately do a 1-hour session on a Facebook Live, and I'm on a carpet job, so we could probably use carpet seams, and we could cover conventional seam iron, seam sealing, um, the cool glide.
Right. And you break that up into multiple different sessions, right? Like today is just going to be this. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's, you think about it in terms of the videos online. That's what they do anyways, right? They make
Yeah,
things a certain amount of time because it engages people. It makes it so that way their interest is there the whole time. And then you're just like, all right, we'll tackle something else the next time.
yeah, yeah. And so I kind of thought that would be a great way to engage, because videos, I think, really are. I mean, I would rather watch a video on how to learn to do something than try to read a 40-page manual on it, right?
oh yeah, same.
Nobody's. I mean, I just don't think these instructions. I mean, sometimes you almost have to be. You need a master's degree in language to even understand what they're trying to say.
Well,
And
a lot of that too is how does an individual interpret what they read, right? Can they
yeah,
absorb it? Can they
yeah,
interpret it? Can they retain it? Right? And
yeah,
everybody learns at different rates, and when there's one person writing it is almost robotic, that
yeah,
one way does not apply to everybody else. And the videos that you put, like, you're talking through it and then you're like, oh, hold on, let me do this. And then you pause for a second. It's real time, and it
yeah,
gives people time to process. But
yeah.
when you're explaining it, you don't you and I and Daniel, we don't explain it the way it says it in a book, right?
No,
We're going
we're
through
on the
it.
job.
We're going
We're
step by step and experience. Like, and I remember one time when I did it like this, I did try this and it didn't really work, and
yeah, yeah.
that helps a lot.
Well, sure, yeah. People love. I love it. And I'm sure everybody else loves it. They love when you share something and it's genuine.
Yes.
There's not a back angle to it that you're trying to scam them out of something, or set them up for failure. When it's a genuine, yeah, that's exactly right. Like, hey, for 15 years I did this wrong, and then somebody showed me the correct way, and my life has been so easy. There's no reason for you guys to do it that other way. Please do it this way. And I think those might be, with being involved in CFI now, and having that strong passion for, like, how do we get out there, just hosting an event, putting a flyer out there isn't going to cut it anymore. And that goes for everybody. So what can we do to make this to where, we're sought after, but we're also getting good information out there that actually helps. I'm biased here. I'll say CFI, but how do we get that good information that makes us at CFI look good? And a lot of it is through the videos that are kind of already out there. I think Floors by Southern Boys has some fantastic videos. I
It,
put.
his videos were some of the first ones I've ever watched, like, because he was engaging. It was a real person, real time. It
Yeah.
wasn't cut and chopped up. Yeah, I mean, a little bit, right? But as he got better, it got like that. But it was real time, real progress. 45 minutes
Yeah.
of trial and error. Let's just say it that way. Even though it was less error, but he's like explaining the whole thing.
So
Um,
what are your guys' thoughts with that too? Because, like, versus a 13 or 15-minute video of just somebody holding a camera, as opposed to that expensive, over edited, it really looks good um, video. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, is it
I
even necessary to put those videos out anymore?
Yes and no, right? Because you're gonna have the audience for both of them, but like you were saying, it engages people. So people are seeing it in real time. They're with you from the time you start, and then say you run into an issue, and it's not like, oh, let me just cut this and then come back when something happens. It's like, oh, we ran into this. What are we going to do to fix it? And in certification is like, with the NAFCT, that's kind of what I do. I'm like, you guys, there's going to be mess ups. You're going to end up burning seams. You're going to end up burning corners. I said, the fact of the matter is this is real world scenario. We don't have any more vinyl job site. You have to make that pass in order to get certified. So what are we going to do to make it pass? And then it's like, you can ask me questions. And you like a few not gonna hold your hand through it. It's like, hey, you just messed that up. That means you gotta double boot it or something, right? This is real world scenarios. We don't have any more material. What are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I do want to say something about what you said though about the video versus like that big edited one.
Yeah.
When I watch one that's like an hour long on a specific item, like just like a DIY something or learning how to do something, I do tend to fast forward through the edited videos to the points that I need to get to.
Yeah.
But when it's like a live video and someone's recording the process and there is no edit, I am more engaged in that through that entire video than I am off of one that is structured through and through. I don't know if that even makes sense or if anybody else is like that, but I will fast forward to all the points I need in the structured video. But the other one, I'm getting personality. I'm getting
Right.
I'm getting good feedback. I'm getting well, see what I just did there? Yeah, don't do that.
Let me show
Now
you
we
what
gotta
not to do. And then Walter here says, there is not a textbook standard for our industry for consistency in teaching. And I don't think it's just our industry. I think that's just teaching in general, because you can have everything, given to you, and then each teacher is going to teach a different way, especially knowing that they didn't all learn the same way. So they had different teachers, and that just kind of gets passed on, and you kind of just mimic what you were taught, right? So you probably find that favorite teacher that you had, and you're like, I'm kind of going to mimic them. So, I mean, that's the same all the way around.
That is 100%, I would say, with trades too, how we are teaching trade is through our past experience with it. I find myself a lot when I'm teaching or explaining is I'm relating to a lot of my experience of what I had. So if you have a teacher that had a lot of bad experiences, they're gonna relate to a lot of those negative, to where if the experiences were better for that teacher, probably gonna come across. And think about going through high school. What teachers did you like? Probably the ones that tended to have a better attitude towards you, could relate to you as a person. But then at whatever, even though the topic was nothing that you cared about, they were still able to make it enjoyable for you. So
they're engaging. They were engaging, right? Like if you got a room full of 20 people and they're all there to learn, they're all gonna expect different things, but they're all gonna find different items funny. The humor is gonna be different. Their delivery is gonna be different. And I think it's someone who is teaching who can relate to everyone, even if they don't at first, but they make the time to go through and find one relation with everybody as far as or one thing in common. Those are the best teachers. And then like you talk about going to school, those are the ones that resonated with me the most were the ones that didn't take anything because they expected more out of me. And until I realized that, right, myself, they were hard on me. But once I did realize that, and I did execute to their expectations as well, then everything was a lot better.
Yeah.
Mario's on here. He was actually supposed to join us today, but he can't figure out his sound. Like his microphone wasn't even registering on the software.
Get a new phone, Mario.
Time for a new phone. And then
Call
since
your brother
we
Louis.
are talking about in the slow time, what you can do invest in yourself, invest in some training. But Elena says that installers don't invest because they see no reward on the financial side. And then they will put other installers down before they support them, right? And you see that all the time on the groups where people just get on there to talk crap. And I've gone as far as I just like to start private messaging for the most part, instead of like commenting, because someone's going to try and discredit me right away. And typically that it's someone that just doesn't like me because I'm me, which is fine. Whatever. I don't care if you like me or not.
I go on there and act like somebody else and make comments to Daniel.
I'm going to do that now because I like stirring. Guys, I truthfully, I make posts, get reactions sometimes. And it's not to bring negativity, but it's just, you know, kind of like it's social media. But I think Daniel made a great point, you know, for those of us that want to make things better, when you see that post and it's a blatant, like, oh boy, that's bad. Like, how many times we've seen pictures and they're showing the 35 fans sitting, trying to dry out a floor, the glue, so they can get on it. And you've got all the hate coming. That's a great scenario right there. That's a PM private message all day. Hey, like, dude, like, hey, I just wanted you to know I'm not going to post this and call you out. But I think that's just the inherent nature of social media, is it makes it to where we can do that. And you're never really, I mean, we joke because we say, oh, people get all butthurt all the time about stuff. But like, and it's usually the generation above us that's talking about my generation. Oh, you guys get all butthurt.
Always, dude.
They're the ones that'll post something stupid,
dude,
get torn up, and then they're just done. They won't even get back on Facebook.
You know what? Because there is a point when you reach a certain age where you just don't really give a shit what you say. I'm just gonna say this because this is how I feel right now. Let me not think about it.
Yeah.
Let me just do it.
What's up, Jorge? Welcome.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Doing good, brother. You?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Good stuff here on the video stuff. I know I had talked to John in Dalton, and we had talked about videos, man, how important videos are for people, because some people just learn off of visualization, what they can see. They don't, like you were saying, they don't read a 40-page book, you know. But yeah, that's super awesome. Videos, I think, are a way to grasp people's attention and just let them know what we're doing. You know, it might be something different that they haven't seen, and that's gonna push them to want to maybe take some training.
Right.
You know, you just made a really good point, by the way. How many people, audience, like if you think about it like this, how many people still look for a picture on a menu to order their food versus looking at a menu and just ordering like that? Like I look at the picture, dude. If the picture don't look good, no. Like unless I know what it is.
I love our Mexican restaurant, but I can't pronounce a lot of the stuff on it. So yes, I am that. I'm like, that looks
just
amazing.
point at the menu. This right here. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Dude, I like the Asian restaurants. I want the number 15 extra spicy.
Yeah.
Right. So the other part of Elena's statement that she made is they don't see a financial reward, right, for going through a certification, which is why they don't do it. So the thing that I tell people is it's not like it's night and day, right? You have to, what are you going to do to market it? And I put it in terms of just a doctor going through college. You know, they go out through all that schooling, and then you have all types of doctors. You specialize in stuff. How are you going to market it? A doctor doesn't just open up their own shop and then be like, all right, all the customers come rolling in. No, it's all about marketing. How are you going to market what you just went and got and let people know that, hey, this is me. I'm getting trained. I'm worth it because of this. And it takes a long time for people to see that worth. But I mean, we got clients now where it's like, they'll text me after the project and they're like, it's just a blessing every time we have you guys on our job site. And it took a long time to get to that point, but people know now that, you know, we don't just go out and work and then go home. It's a constant reinvestment in our education.
We have to remember too that, you know, it's not just unique to the flooring installers. Oh, you go
Right.
get certified and you're going to get more money. I mean, there is every other trade. You have to, you know, to be an electrician, you know, you've got to reach certain levels of education, and you're not automatically paid more right away. You're available for those promotions and such.
The thing is with them, that education is a requirement. So my buddy owns an electric outfit over here, and his guys have to go once a week on their own time too. It's not even during work. So you got to go on your own time and go to school, make sure you're doing it, because if you don't, then you'll never move up.
Yeah. One thing I wish that you'd see more of, and I know Kyle Hadeen with Floor Covering, or the Floor Covering or Floor Academy podcast was
there you go.
really focusing on is making, because we're predominantly subcontractors, making us smarter in business. Because just like you said, Daniel, it's about marketing, not only your certification, but just marketing yourself, making yourself more valuable. And how do you do that? Well, you've got to actually look at yourself like a business and not a job. That's it. If you are working out of stores and that's all you want to do, that's fine too. I don't think there's
100%.
anything about, you know, at least in my area, I know what some of these guys are getting paid now. It's way better than what it used to be, you know, and it's because they're bringing attention to the things they're reading on these Facebook groups, that they're seeing that, oh man, there's not a whole lot of carpet installers. Why am I still installing carpet for next to nothing? You know, they're learning how to say no. And that is part of the education, is that we need to teach how to, you know, education's going to help you realize that you are a valuable person, you know, quicker than just going to work every day. Getting around people that are like-minded, that can motivate you, are going to make you see things way different and challenge yourself for the better.
They'll help you see things different, I think, is what it is, because they'll have experiences that you didn't.
All these things are just, you know, another tool, right? Another tool to add to your toolbox. What are you going to do with it? And, you know, we partner with many people, and one of our partners is actually Floor Cloud. And we've been using Floor Cloud pretty extensively on these projects that we've been on, and they've been amazing. I'm going to play a short video here to show you guys something about Floor Cloud.
Real-time monitoring of your job site conditions via desktop or mobile device. No more manual checking for temperature, humidity, or even dew point. No need for base stations, Wi-Fi, or external power sources. Simply scan the QR code on the front of your sensors and you're up and running with the most accurate and innovative site monitoring system in the flooring industry. Dispatch your crews with confidence and reduce your climate-related installation issues. Floor Cloud, now you know.
And now you know, and that's what I tell the GCs on the job sites. So it's like, hey, you got to turn this temperature up. Hey, you got to get a dehumidifier in there.
Sometimes they don't understand to what specs their contract states either, right? So you're not just teaching your crew, you're teaching other people too.
And Walter's in here, and I love this engagement, because he says, as an industry, too many trainings and certifications aren't legit, right? I'll pop this on screen while I'm reading it. So those that don't know the inner workings don't always know the good ones. So, I mean, how are we going to tell? Do we actually have to go through these things, or is it based on just what you're hearing? How would you?
I
think. I always said nothing.
Gotta go.
Anybody.
Go ahead, bro.
There's nothing stopping anybody from going out and teaching and saying, I want to open up the school of carpet excellence and teaching how to install carpet. Not
write that down.
We don't have like this book, this big Bible standard that we got to obey. And
hey, guess what? You might be good enough. You can get, it's America. You can get paid for it. You know, if you can pull it off, pull it off. I mean, Walter makes a great point there, but
Yeah,
So,
because his other main point is nothing is credentialing and accredited to differentiate, but there are some accredited programs that are starting to roll out right now. So this is not necessarily true right now because of what's going on. And the thing is that a lot of the bigger certifying entities have their hand in these ones that are becoming accredited.
right. And that process is a little bit lengthy too, right? Like it's got to get approved by the board. It's got to go to a university that's reputable that can accredit it. The training program has got to have the right curriculum. It's got to, you know, there's a lot to it.
just look at FCEF's, you know, their apprentice program they can put in through it, it's recognized and throughout the nation as an accredited program, and it uses CTEF, CFI, NWFA. It's using all these standards that they have written to teach the class.
And,
Yeah,
and
they're
to
popping
his,
up everywhere.
right. And
They're starting
to
to
add
pop
on
up.
to his first comment, I'm sorry, Jorge, is, you know, and which ones to each their own. If you have 3 people go to 3 different trainings, A, B, and C, right? Each person is going to gain something different from program A, program B, program C. They're going to find successes in 3 different areas. They're not, you know, so how do you rate them if even if an if a training is accredited, how do you rate it in terms of a successful or legitimate training? Do you rate it on the success of the people who have taken the certification, passed, and done well, or do you rate it on the amount of failures or lack of failures after they've taken the class, but not necessarily the dollar amount that they're making afterwards, right? Like, how do you do that?
And it's going to take time too, because if these programs are barely rolling out, how much time till you can actually say, hey, this is a successful rate or a failure?
Right.
And as long as those metrics are tracked, you know, that's only a matter of time. And he says, so Kevin and Corey both said, "What's up, guys?"
What's up?
And he says that standards and accreditation are different, which,
Yes.
yes,
I love that language right there. That is a way better way to explain that.
right. And then so when you start getting into, you know, accreditation and stuff like that, going through the schools, making sure everything is legit. And I think the issue with just standards is not even many installers know that there's standards out there that they're supposed to be following.
Look at I'll give you guys a great example. A lot of these ASTM with moisture. Come on, man. I would say the majority of us have no clue.
Right.
You guys probably do because of the world you live in. But I read stuff weekly that just blows my mind that I'm supposed to know about vinyl tile and moisture and
Well,
concrete in general, just concrete.
Yeah.
What it is
come on. And I got to be responsible for all this.
Yeah,
It's like you try to take 2 steps forward, but you're taking 4 steps back.
That's exactly.
That's the way I feel sometimes. I'm like, man, I didn't know that, and now that I know that, I'm like, just makes it more complicated. I'm like, I'm sticking to carpet.
If you read the manufacturer's specifications, right? A lot of the resilient is going to say, hey guys, you have to follow ASTM F710. And then guys just read that and are like, okay. And then you get a group of guys together and you're like, hey guys, does anyone know what ASTM F710 is? And no one raises their hand. And it's like, you guys, this is like beginner stuff here. This is what everything is based on.
Yeah.
So Justin wants to know how we feel about install, but install
I hear it's a great program,
but they don't let us into it because we are not union, which is totally fine.
You know, how about they make it public? They make it available to the public, and then we'll be able to grade it. I can't rate something I don't know how it works. But if there's a basis in which they have the install base off of, right? Like all the training entities, and they kind of put everything together and made their own system. Tell me what systems they use to create theirs, and then I'll let you know. I like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've met a couple of the union guys.
They're all good dudes.
They're cool dudes. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, same.
very
I mean,
knowledgeable.
we went to one of the
Locally here.
yeah, we went and checked it out, and yeah, we understand, right? But like, had I known about the union and all that years ago, before I had kids, before I was married, then maybe things would be different right now. But unfortunately, we live in a part of the state where there's a divide. There is no union on our side of the state. I don't have a use for it, and there's plenty of work without having to be part of a union.
And not only that, the people on the other side of the state are kind of saying that the unions are struggling a little bit. So
Yeah, there is a struggle, and probably more so maybe in the flooring industry, right? Because let's be clear, a lot of our friends are in the flooring industry, so we hear some things, but without the proof, we don't know. I guess I don't know enough about what program Install has to say it for sure. But if it's a great program and it's proven, please patent it, share it. Let's make the world a better place.
To back up to Walter's question about who's who and what's what, that is a tough question. But I guess if we're looking at what's going on right now, we can see the organizations and what they're doing and what they're put out. And when you're having support from the inspection community with your organization, you're having support with the manufacturing community, and you're having support from the installation community, I would say that's a success. I would say if you belong to any organization that's receiving those three things, or you're getting input from those three things, then I think you should be able to hold your head up pretty high and say, look, it's not a one-sided conversation we're here. We've got manufacturers giving us input. We have inspectors giving us input. We have these people over here telling us that we know nothing about concrete, giving us their input. I mean, there's just so much that there is out there. But if you're able to educate in a way that appeases kind of all those, I think you're doing great.
What's less lumps on the road too, because everybody, I mean, at this point, everybody's doing their part on all sides. Less claims, more knowledge. It just makes the machine run a lot smoother. So yeah, people should, if people don't think they should take advantage of it, any kind of training. I mean, anything from a simple sewing class with a couple old ladies, it'll help you out in anything.
right.
It helps
And
me.
then
I do stuff like that. So
right here, Corey says, quick question. When a manufacturer has a certified training for installing their product, how does that specified training affect prior training for like products, or is that even an issue? And I think Walter kind of answered it right here a little bit too, right? The difference in certification is that it's for their products only compared to the general flooring industry certification. But you have to start looking at things like, I can take, just talking about sheet vinyl, right? Because we love resilience. So just talking about sheet vinyl, I can take what I learned from this sheet vinyl manufacturer and kind of translate it everywhere. It's just the specifics that you have to worry about. So what adhesive am I using? What things like that. It's nothing like super huge sometimes, but it's just the little things like that. So you can actually transfer that over to more than just one manufacturer. And I think that's what these training entities that's where the value is, because you're not just learning one, you're like, it's a broad knowledge. So you can translate these things over multiple manufacturers, but you always have to refer to manufacturer specifications, right? Because if you try and do it just like I showed you, and then something is different with that adhesive, then that automatically makes that installation wrong.
Yeah,
and that's
or
where
avoids the warranty, right?
Yeah, like materials might go down the same path as far as the process and do's and don'ts, but they're just like materials. That's where the manufacturer specs come into play, where it's manufacturer specific. So that way, if there is something a little bit different, if they did add something a little bit different into their material, you're prepared for that by reading their literature or referencing their literature versus the general literature of a type of product.
The nuances, guys.
Yeah,
it really is.
That's what training, understanding that you guys, I think Daniel, you hit it best. Is, you know, let's pit. We'll say Armstrong Resilient wrote this whenever, and then Tarket took a little bit of it. They kind of liked it. They tweaked it a little bit to make their own. And we as installers have to be able to distinguish between the two of those, or however many different products we work with.
And when we're just talking training on installation techniques, that's all it is a technique, right? There's many techniques to get the same end result, and you just have to take all the information and you make it your own, because I do things different than Jose does, and he does things different than Crystal does. But if you put us all in 3 separate rooms, we all do our own room, that end result is going to be almost indistinguishable, right? You're going to go in there and it's just going to be like, oh, preferred flooring was in here. That's it.
And
It's not, and that's how it should be.
And that's because of what Walter had said, the standard. That's the difference between a standard or just a certification or a training, right? Like,
look like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
and that,
the equation's just a little different for everybody.
Right.
And the same instance too, like we hit this. So Jorge and I have been talking like over the weekend and at the end of last week about a product. Like I could have gave, you know, we got a referral from him all the way from Texas, all the way over here, wherever he's at. Whoever called him, he referred us, and I'm trying to help the gentleman. And there's some installers that walked away from a product, and I kind of know what path we should go down for it, right? But I couldn't find the right information. And he was gracious enough to send me some video and some screenshots of some literature that helped clarify everything, because the rep wasn't getting back to me, the sales rep or the tech rep. I could have just went in and banged it out and acted like I knew exactly what I was doing.
And that's where that networking aspect comes in, right? Like you need to have this network of people that you can lean on, because you don't know everything. And that's one thing that, like, if you think you do right now, you don't. And remember earlier when I was talking about having haters and I don't care what you think about me, there's guys that put stuff like this. Apparently it looks like my mother made love to a garden gnome, and I think that is hilarious. So I'm gonna put that.
That is hilarious, because his dad does look like a garden gnome.
And then he said, what do you say?
That's my dad too.
Daniel goes to the bar and orders a glass of warm milk. Actually, I don't like warm milk. I prefer cold milk, but thank you.
With ice. With ice. Milk with
ice in it.
Paul's a hater.
Hey, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that his real name's not Paul, but we get the gist. So yeah, Kevin says not a bad idea to check with the flooring and glue manufacturer before moving forward with any job. So much changes so rapidly. Make sure you get the most updated data sheets. And there's stories like this where online it has something, and then on the bucket it has something else. It's like, which one do I follow?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Paul Stewart's got the best story about that one, where one said install with this side up, the other one said this side down, and he's confused and had to make a phone call, and they said, yep, it's updated on the website, but not the product.
My girlfriend is a jar of peanut butter. I'm just going to... I'll stop now. I'll let him just keep on talking.
Yeah, but getting back to that product that Jose and I talked about, I had to reach out to other people as well. So Charlene Collins, David Hunt, I mean, I try to reach out to the people who have done it way longer than I have and do it on a regular. So I believe he has a library of information, because he went and he checked it out. And in a matter of minutes, he came back and he was like, hey, man, this is what I got. Let me know if you need anything else. And dude, that's, some people just save every piece of paper every year and probably put it in a book somewhere and just go back, because it changes, right? Everything changes.
I know people like that. I know people like that.
And it's good. It's good to have it. So, you know, hey, you know, this year they had it like this and they changed it up, you know, this year.
We got another superstar joining us, guys.
Mr. Rollins.
Shut it off. Shut it off.
He made it.
What up with me?
Show's over. Show's over.
That's probably
What
the
up while you're
best
driving
gear
through
shift.
New York here.
Probably the best gear shift I've ever
Oh,
seen.
he's driving through New York, he says.
Yeah, heading towards Pennsylvania, then back home. I was up with Don Perkins and putting on a tech certification.
Oh yeah.
For last couple of days, and his wife got her tech certification.
Nice.
Yeah, so if I go in and out, that I'll be like John Steier and blame it on somebody else.
No, he blames it on
I'm a
himself. He blames it on his
millennial,
signal.
Roland. I'm a millennial. I can do that. You're an old man. You can't do that.
Oh, I can. All right. So anyway, so yeah, it was really, I was really encouraged with it because I had, we only had 7, and 5 of them were 30 and under. I had to through it to learn. Had probably
Uh-oh.
one that would be 31. So
That's nice, man. You're kind of breaking up a little bit, Roland.
yeah.
We're just-
Can you hear me now?
We can
we
hear
can
you.
see you now, but
Can you see me at all?
Yeah, Jeremy says that you need to put on your reading glasses if you're driving.
No, I'm not that old yet.
Yeah, you're only like, what, 150 right now. So
Yes, that's it.
so what do you guys got on the agenda? What's coming up that everybody needs to know about? Like as far
All
as
right. Well, I'll
um,
sort of give you a rundown real quick, and
I don't know if that rundown's coming, guys, because
don't-
he's paused now.
Moving.
I think your signal is run down.
But as far as like with CFI, we got some great opportunities coming up in the Midwest: St. Louis, Fargo, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
So right now we want to kind of know, and I got it pulled up right here too. We're kind of looking at this downtime, right? Because historically, this has been around the time where things start slowing down a little bit and gives people more opportunities to actually get out and do something. And you can't have that scarcity mindset like I'm not making any money right now, so I'm just not going to do anything, right? This is actually a perfect time for you to go out there and do some training, because when you're too busy, you're like, I can't do it right now because I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to that's actually fantastic advice right there, because you'll never, if you're busy, it's just hard for me to convince installers when they're busy to take time off work. All they see is that work ahead of them, and if they don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. And for whatever reason, they're
Prime example is we actually did not make it down to the CFI event because we had too much work on our plate. Like,
yeah,
we had too much work, you guys, that we had deadlines that we weren't going to make. And that's just one of the things we had to do. Right. So like that part, I get it.
running a business. I mean, and that's just what it is, because most of this stuff, you're going to have to take off work. You're going to have to travel. You're going to have to spend money. And none of that stuff installers really like doing all at one time,
Right. Hey, Roland, people are saying maybe if you turn, or Sonny, it was actually Sonny said, if you turn off your screen, your camera, and just do the audio, it might work better.
I can hear you right now.
Might work better if you just don't do it.
And I could
Roland,
hear
it's probably a better
talking
idea than
about me.
driving.
What's that?
I would say stay off the phone.
Stay off the phone if you're driving.
I'm not driving.
That's why he has it down there. No one can see it.
Yeah.
No.
No one. Yeah.
If you
He's not
can't
paying.
see it, it's not illegal. That's right.
He's not.
So it looks like November 12th, there's a NFIC certification
Correct.
in Dalton. And then
Yep.
we have
Train the trainer.
December 9th, intro to residential carpet in St. Louis. And then around that same time is the residential carpet 1 certification. And then we're into next year unless something gets added. But
Well,
I mean,
we're working on one. She wants it a LVP laminate in at Kimmy's Carpet in North Carolina. It's just me and her getting a date plugged in. She'd still like it this year, but there again, it's me and her connecting on what days. So we still could have another one yet this year of LVP and laminate. Then we're going to follow up with a carpet one at her place, probably first part of next year. So we got more in the making. I know we have some in Wisconsin that's in the making.
Yep.
That's being worked on. So we got a lot on the agenda that we're working on, and hopefully get out. But like I said, I heard you were saying about the NFIC one. That's next month, and it's both a train the trainer and a certification.
And you're going to be there, Jorge?
No, I'm sad. I'm gonna miss it. I get married on the 16th, so that whole week I have family coming in and friends. Jesus and Jose are gonna be at it, but they're leaving that Saturday. I think they're flying over here, so to make the wedding.
Well, congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
That's right.
I thought you were going to have a dumb excuse like having too much work to not make it.
No, man. I was really bummed out. I really wanted to go to that one.
He really moved his wedding. It was scheduled for during the CFI convention, and his dedication.
Dude is
He
dedicated.
told his fiance that they were moving it because he was going to the convention.
That's
Yep.
legit too.
I probably would not have had a fiance after that.
What about like, something we don't talk about too much on here on certification? What about like or Paul does typically is hard surface, and what about like coatings, resinous coatings? Do we have anybody out there that does any of that? I mean, we've been getting a lot of that across our desk as well.
So
Right.
if you are, just reach out.
Daniel, Jose, you guys doing coatings?
We personally are not, but no, we have a guy that we use to take care of all of our coatings.
Yeah, but as far as like the hard surface, and wood, NWFA has a few classes from now until the end of the year. Looks like everything. I mean, we're at the tail end of October, so November 5th, they have something in Missouri. And they just got some stuff in Tennessee coming up. And then the CTI, they got their calendar. I mean, just go to their websites and make sure you're checking on these dates. And then the NAFCT has in Aliquippa with Ardex some floor prep stuff on November 6th. So, there's plenty of stuff out there. And if you have, some stuff on coatings, definitely let us know so that we can pass along the information.
Right. And
Jeremy,
which ones are worth taking? Like I get the Extreme Polishing Systems. I think I talked to them. They were going to be in Vegas one of the same times we were. So I was going to try to like overlap, but our schedule was way too busy.
So
yeah, we need some R2C2s actually, because we haven't seen some of those in a while. I need my R2.
Same.
I'm still R1.
You need your R2?
Same.
Yeah, or we can just do a private event.
Yeah, we could do that. But I know down if I do the carpet one at Kimmy's, I've done the carpet one there 2 years ago. So it's going to have R1s in our R2. So we can do both. It's called all surface one. We could plug in that if we don't get enough for up there. We can get you to come down there.
Well, let's
Where's
start
it at again?
talking about it more.
No, that's down in North Carolina.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And you're saying something about Jeremy had something, Daniel?
So a couple of things. First, we're going to address this one right here. Why didn't John Steier compete like he said he was going to?
John Steier did not make the time to get down there. That's why.
And then he wanted to make sure I seen it because he said the people want to know why John Steier wasn't in Dalton last weekend.
That is why.
You know what? People who are asking that question, you just don't want him to be there. His name isn't the Fluorinator for no reason. He gave you guys a chance.
And I don't like excuses, right? Like I'm not like, but it is tough when you want to do a lot of things. You run your own business. Dalton for me, it's an expensive trip. I know it is, but
they have Phoenix.
They got Phoenix coming up, and
That's even further.
I've got my November filled up, but I'll keep it on the radar because I think it's something that we all need to do at some point is just get out there and actually do it.
Now
I will say that I don't want to do it because then I know when I do make it to ties or something like that, I will not be able to enjoy my time there.
That is,
It's just all work.
All work. Yeah, I talk too much to work to do all that to do the competition.
Now, this next comment is legit, right? Because Jeremy's asking, why aren't there, and Rollin, maybe you can weigh in because you're pretty deep into this. Why aren't there more scholarships for classes to help get certifications? He's always been a W-2 employee, but not being his own boss or being a sub, he can't really afford to attend those classes. The scholarships they have out now are geared more towards the guys that are new to the industry rather than the guys that want to further their education that are already in the industry.
And I agree with what he's saying, that they are geared for new people in, for people taking, but because the FCEF is the one that does that, not CFI, because we're being nonprofit, we can't offer scholarships to it. But FCEF has to show a career path, and so that it has to be at least 1 week and more for them to put the money in, and you'll find that pretty much with any organization, that path, and not just for a couple day training.
Right. So, and then he says, Jeremy was trying to compete in Chicago, but he got hit in the face with a softball. And then he says he realized he's one of the few W-2 employees who actually takes pride and wants to build his knowledge and hand skills, but it's just his hands are tied when it comes to that financially. And then you're talking about career path and the FCEF, but what career path is there when you're bringing so many new people in with not many places to put them?
And that's where
if I could answer Jeremy, is Jeremy able to talk to his employer about sponsoring him to go? Because there are quite a few, I know a lot of companies around here that hire young mechanics or machinery operators, and they'll put them through school. They just have them sign like a 2-year contract that says, hey, for the next 2 years, I need you to work here, and I'll pay for the schooling. So if Jeremy, if you're interested, I would have a serious conversation with your employer and say, hey, this is what I'm serious about this. I want to do this. I can't front the money. Here's what, and come up with a plan for them. Hey, this is what it's going to cost me. What can I do to make this enticing for you to want to send me to something like that?
Right. And he says that they'll have him go, but sometimes they're just too busy. And then the times where he does have time is when there's no certifications going on, probably.
Yeah.
And then Miss Perkins says that Wi-Fi, the women in the floor covering industry, has scholarships right now. So tomorrow is the deadline. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're going to get on and see if that's something that you can do.
Where's Jeremy live?
Here in Grand Rapids with us.
Okay.
They are also his employers. Nah, I'm messing with you.
That would have been good.
Oh man, we're also his employers.
we used to be.
But yeah, it's an
Hey,
expense.
guys.
So I mean, they need to put cots at Dalton.
Hey guys,
Go ahead, Rollin.
I'm hitting the Pocono Mountains and that.
Rollin's
All right.
gone.
Yeah, you're breaking up. So thanks for jumping on, Rollin. We'll talk to you next time, bud.
Thank you, Rollin.
Yeah, so they need like in Dalton, they should have a bunch of cots. That way we can all go and just sleep there. We don't have to have a hotel.
Yeah.
That
Well,
way it's cheaper.
But if anybody, that would be fantastic. I know Jorge's been down there to see that facility, and anybody else that's been there, I think that would be, anybody watching this, maybe in WFCA, CFI, the upper, really look at making that into a training center. You've got I mean, you are right in the hub of everything down there. You have access to all the mills. You have access to materials. Man, I would love to see that. And I know it's going to come down to a lot of other things too, but guys, that would be fantastic if something like that could happen in the future.
Danny, you mentioned something about career path, and I think that's where Paul Stewart and Go Career has got that Jumpstart program to help individuals hopefully find placement after they take their initial classes with the FCEF and get through those courses that they have. So that's just another add-on for the career path. And then also, as far as the grants and all that, Jeremy, Jeremy's he's got a great point there, right? Because there are grants available for corporate America to utilize, and it isn't geared. And we tried to qualify for some of it. We did qualify, but we weren't able to use it to its full potential because our trainings are out of state. They want in-house or in-state training, and there's a lot of red tape, right? But maybe some of these the FCEF and some of these other entities have the ability to talk to some of the grant underwriters and figure out a way to get the verbiage right on there for them to
make it more
something
tailored to the construction industry, but the
correct.
construction.
I like that.
industry.
Yeah.
Right. Like we can take a little, like Daniel and I took a 10-week course on advanced estimating or something like that. I forget what it was called. But that was like 1 day a week for 10 weeks, and they have some of that going on. And I think a lot of those programs are still running through some type of university or the higher education programs. And that's what kind of sucks too, because that comes with a dollar amount. And to be honest with you, man, we're in the trades, man. The last thing that I want is for a university or a college to have full authority over what education we're able to receive and what certifications. I understand that they got to give it a rating to get it accredited, but we don't want to give them full power of what we have, right? We don't.
Well, just think about it in the long run, though. It's those kind of classes that actually become more affordable, and you're not paying just $600 for 2 days.
Yeah.
And if we can get them into, the colleges and the universities, it's going to open things up to financial aid. I mean, because what you're saying, you're 100% right. Right now, some of these programs you can go to these community colleges for nothing, absolutely nothing. If you're willing to do the program and you're willing to go put the work in, it ain't going to cost you a dime. And yeah, I would love to see our trades just, I know they're doing, like Iowa, I know they're doing stuff like that. You can qualify, you can get certain amounts of money. It sounds like the same thing as like Michigan, right? But the money has to stay in-house. It has to go towards training. You have to show the apprentice type program that you have in place with the training.
And that's where the programs like Install have an upper leg, because they have all of those docs in place. And that's why they're able to flourish within the union. And, that is one of the benefits to being part of the union. They have all of that stuff. They created the structure.
Yeah. Well, let's just face it. Anything that, needs to happen or should happen in the floor covering community, it's going to cost money, and it's a lot of money.
Right. And Sonny says to check with your local labor department for available funds. They are out there, and yes, they are. But a lot of the flooring installers around aren't set up to actually receive those funds. Like, we've been lucky enough to be set up to actually provide all the information that they need. And because when you're talking about grants, they want to know your entire business history, man. It's like, if you don't keep track of stuff, then you're just already behind. And unfortunately, most of the guys that are out doing it are just doing it and keeping receipts in a box, and they're not using the right stuff, right? So that's kind of another hurdle that we have to get over.
And I think that's also one of the downfalls of the percentage of 1099 versus W2 in our industry. It's you know what I mean? If you're 1099, you have to have all the right information in place in order to even come close to having a chance at a grant. So, and that's where the W2 Like,
You know,
luckily we have a Daniel. Daniel tracks everything, and we got the programs, and it's evolved into what it is right now. But it's taken us a long time to be able to understand the importance of retaining information and creating a structure.
and that's a great point, Jose, about being able to keep track of that, because there's a difference between you're a 1099, then you have you're some sort of corporation or LLC.
Yeah.
There's just, and let's face it, I'm if I had to guess, most of the guys that I know are just quote unquote self-employed 1099, and that's it.
Sole
One bank,
proprietors.
sole
Yeah.
proprietors. It's like you're gonna have a hard time probably showing how for grant money, how you want thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. You're going to use it.
So there you go, grant underwriters. We need a program to help out 1099 individuals.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great point though, because that is the majority of especially if you're working out of a store. You're probably just showing up 1099 at the end of the year. That's what it is.
Yep. And Jeremy says he wants to get more certifications so he can teach. The more people he can teach, the sooner he can get off his knees. And that's 100%. I think Jorge and I mean, I talk about it with everyone probably, but it's a matter of it needs to become a viable career path in order to just be an instructor and just teach people full time.
Oh, I think we could have a podcast just on that, because
I know.
I am so, I'm going to be very vocal here. I am so tired of saying, oh, there's no money in education. There's no money teaching floor covering. That means we're doing something wrong, because all these damn colleges, all these universities, anything, I'll even say the other trades that are doing stuff with education, the centers in which they have, like I was just at one for electrical down in Waterloo. My God, it was millions and millions of dollars. Okay. That's real money. That means, so we just, the right people need to figure this out, because you're right. Like, this is, if we get the right people teaching this, they need to make a career off it. You should not have to install carpet and then go on a weekend and then do some training. I mean, it's fun to do, but man, it's not something you're going to be able to do all the time. You know?
So that's a good idea. For any of you guys out there in the flooring industry that just have some money that they want to invest into the training, Preferred Flooring is willing to host a satellite training facility for you if you provide the location, and we'll take care of the facility for you while utilizing it for our business. And anytime you need to host a training, we'll make sure that space is available, since it is yours.
I like it.
Yeah. So kind of reel us back in, because we're running overtime already.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard because we got all these topics, and it's just something that like you said, we could talk about this for days.
Oh, that's a good one, because there is some very talented within NWFA, CTEF. There are some very talented individuals within those organizations that I would love to see them just teaching full time, and make a career out of it.
And that's what Jeremy says right here. That's his ultimate goal, is to be teaching full time, and that would be awesome, because that dude has some hand skills for real. And so I would, last week we were at the NAFCT event over in America's Floor Source in Columbus, Ohio. Amazing facility. This thing is ridiculous, right? And I get up there and I introduce myself, and some of these guys, you never know what you're going to get, because you have those guys that are like, I already know everything. So that's the attitude they have. But one of the first questions that someone asked me, and it was legitimate, like he was like, why are you here teaching this class? And I said, because, man, I have all this knowledge in here that if it just stays in here, it's not going to do anyone any good later on in life. So the more knowledge that I can pass down to everyone, make sure everyone knows what I know and knows how to do things the right way, that's what I want. Like, I'm not here to just make a bunch of money because I'm a certifier, right? Everyone that's a certifier knows that's not the case. That's not really why we do it.
It's usually pro bono.
You lose money. You tend to lose money.
Yeah, you do.
It's not like, I could have made $2,000 this week.
But that's why we do it, right? It's because we enjoy showing people the right way to do things. Having someone go from we went out there and, you know, that first team that they did, and it was so scorched. And then fast forward 3 hours later, and then they're like, "Hey, I need you to come check this out," because they did, man. They got it. And then they feel so proud of themselves. And you just look at it and you're like, man, I can't believe that it just takes this amount of time for someone to get this much better. And then like you build them
That's
up.
the goal.
You build them up with all this flat lay weld, and then you make them do flash cove, and it tears them right back down.
It's like anything else, you guys, right? Like if you guys grew up competitive at all and played sports, or even were part of a band or anything in school, you didn't jump in band and take first chair. You didn't jump on a baseball team and you were starting shortstop and or starting pitcher. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that you didn't do unless they didn't have a choice, but you had to practice. You had to go out and do work on your own, and the individuals that succeeded in all of that took it upon themselves to take their own time to get better. Not just when they were at baseball practice, not when they were you don't go to a game and just, that's all you get. You don't go to one practice and that's all you get. It's continuous. And I think that's where we fall short, and not just in flooring, but construction period. That's why the road to success seems so long to so many, because they don't put in the work that is really needed.
Yeah, no, it's.
I don't know why some people act all hard, like when they go in there thinking they know everything. At the end of the whole thing, we're probably going to be friends, right? Because you're going to make like 3-4 friends in the next training, and they're always going to talk to you, and you're always going to talk to them, and your circle just gets bigger. So, that whole attitude, at the end of the day, once people start talking about what they do and they start loving the talk, at the end of the day, you're going to leave there and you're going to build a new friend.
And I think the best thing about us, right? Because that's why we all get along so much. And you go to these classes and you're open-minded, because you're not there to just teach. You're there to, hey, if you guys know something that I don't, let me know, because I'm constantly looking for that too.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them guys that. And it's like, I need to learn from you as much as you need to learn from me. So
I'm looking for Victoria's Secret, man. I'm looking for that secret.
Go to class and ask the dumb question.
Yes.
Yeah, because
you get far asking dumb questions.
I told one of the guys last week, I said, they say there's no such thing as a dumb question. There 100% is, but ask it anyways, because it needs to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe just don't do it in front of everybody if you really think it's that. Come ask lunch.
So is there anything that we need to cover, guys? You guys want to do some closeouts right now? We're at our time. We're over our time. So let's just close this thing out. And
I got one thing I want to say, and I'm sure Jorge's on here, but guys, if there's anything, and I'll put my plug in for CFI. I'm here for. We want to do things for the flooring industry, the flooring community. Right. So, we need the input back. So I'm on social media a lot. Jorge's on social media. The Gonzalez boys are on social media. Let us know. I mean, I'm open-minded to it. And if you want to have a real talk, I'm more than happy to talk about it. It's not just me or Jorge or Jose or whoever going online and just writing a couple things. I mean, we want to know what we can do better, and we want to know what we're doing good too.
Yeah, bad, good. It's all good feedback. It's all great feedback.
Definitely.
Go ahead, Jorge.
I'm sorry. What?
Go ahead.
We're just closing it out. If you have anything else to say.
Closing it out. Yeah, I mean, just basically, hey, go get your training done and make some new friends. Those friends are gonna have more friends that know stuff. And then just like in Jose and I's case and our case, I'm going to know somebody that knows something that he needs to know. And it's the triangle. A triangle. That's all that's going to, a circle. It's going to circle around the knowledge. It's a circle. It's a triangle of love. No, it's a circle. It's going to come back around. And at some point, somebody's going to know the answer to that question. And that's what we need. We need the collective of minds together. That way we can make our jobs easier, man, because we have hard jobs. It's not easy. So we need to make our jobs easier, make everybody else's life easier too. Less claims, less this and that, and just we need to run that machine nicely, well oiled, and get ahead, man. Because it's a tough job. Not everybody's just leaping to this type of trade. Slowly they're starting to get in there, but not everybody wakes up wanting to be a flooring installer. They want to wake up being a police officer, a doctor, an artist of some sort. And we're way down here, but we can do great things. And that's what people don't realize. They just walk all over our floors every day, but they don't realize that somebody actually did that and took a lot of time and sweat. So that's all I can say as far as me.
Yeah, and then for me, so first Walter said remind everyone about the podcast, and I'll let Daniel close it out with that. But I would say become a solutionist by trade, right? If you're not preparing for failure, you're not really preparing for the industry or for anything. Not preparing for failure is setting yourself up for doom. And by preparing for failure, I mean just educate yourself, right? Take a class, make a phone call, read a book, even watch a YouTube video. Anything is better than nothing. So set yourself up for success. Be part of the solution before it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and since that's what we're talking about is training in the downtime, right? If you do have some time right now, check out what's going on. Check out CFI, check out NAFCT, NWFA, CTEF, like any of these training entities. Like every training that you go to, you'll learn something different. You can take the same class 3 times, and I guarantee you'll pick up something different every single time. It's just like watching a movie, right? Like, oh, I didn't see that last time, but you picked it up that next time. So just get out there. And Walter says, remind people that we're live on here and social media posts and stuff. It's just, if you guys like what we do, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs down. If you don't like it, tell us what we can do better. We're all about this criticism, man. Like in everyday life, that's what we strive for. If we can do something better, we all need to know. And then Sonny says, the training is great, but the relationships you build will be what brings you back. And that is so true.
100%.
Yep.
Hanging out with some of these guys, you don't realize how much someone else loves the same industry you're in until you get around a group of these guys. And we've all hung out together, and it's just crazy. Like most of the time, yeah, we talk about flooring, right? But when we get into conversations, I'll call Jorge sometimes and just talk to him for a little bit, or he'll call me, and it's like you need that sometimes, right? Just we become friends, we really do, and it's a brotherhood, right? But we got sisters in there too, so it's just a community of like-minded individuals. That's all we need.
And it's weird that most of the people that I am pretty good and have good relationships, they don't live around me. They live in other places. So anytime there's a training event or something like that, anything, I want to go because I want to see my friends that I haven't talked to in a while. Or, we might just talk to each other on the phone, but sometimes it's good to, get a dinner somewhere, breakfast, something, and just catch up on stuff you can't talk on the phone sometimes, or just anything in general.
Crap about one another. Just talk crap about each other. That's it.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for having me.